This has the... No, I can't say it. I was going to say, you'll figure it out for the next one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the College Football Championship Weekend. We made it, and never thought that we'd make it here, and these teams would make it. If your team's in it, congratulations, and if your team's not in it, well, enjoy Saturday. One of the few Saturdays of college football, but possibly one of the greatest. Greatest impact in terms of championship games, winning, literally, but also in terms of the playoff, in which all of these games will have impact on the final playoff selection. Pretty obvious, but yeah, including games tonight, which I did not post on because that's a lot. But let's get right into it. Let's start off with the noon matchup. A lesser known matchup, but I think this is important because whoever wins this solidifies it and is out. This is a playoff game. This is Iowa State, Arizona. Well, they're not even in it, but to be, well, the Big 12 championship, I guess, is it? Yeah, I'll say it before. Whoever wins this gets the playoff spot. Again, my understanding of playoff. Obviously, number 16 Iowa State and versus number 15 Arizona State. Arizona State has a lot of momentum, big wins. But I'm choosing Iowa State with the points to win this game. A lot of people are talking Arizona State. Obviously, they're big wins, as I just mentioned. But it doesn't mean anything when it comes to championship. Little bit of underdog, little slip of the under. No one's talking about them enough. And one slip up, and that's it. It's only a +2. It's only a 2-point differential. Can Arizona State win by 2? Or can Iowa State lose within 2? In the Big 12 championship game. And in my honest opinion, I'd rather take Iowa State to be within 2 than Arizona State to win by 2. You could say it's an up. Could I see an upset with this? Maybe. If I have to choose straight up, I'm choosing Arizona State. But I think if I had to choose a straight up, it was like flip a coin. Arizona State. 2 points. Give me Iowa State within 2. Obviously, they're ranked together very closely, 16-15. That to me says, at least from a committee standpoint, we could talk about the playoff, which I said before. These two are very close, which means either widely accepted or widely seen by the committee as very close. Arizona could, but what is the 1 point difference between them? As in, Iowa State is 16, Arizona State's 15. What is the difference? Maybe a point or 2 better? 3 points better? Maybe. But we don't know. But we'll find out in the Big 12 championship game. But right now, it's time to go with some points in and take Iowa State. Well, from the high noon down to 4 o'clock. And these stuff haven't been the ideal spreads. Like, you'll see these ideal... Well, not ideal, because 2 8 o'clock games. Annoying. But can only do so much. I wish they had done a 12, 4, 7:30... or like 7:30, something like that. Not 2 8 o'clock, but going back to it. I'm going back to the 4 o'clock matchup. To be honest, this, I think, has the... This has the... No, I can't say it. I was going to say... you'll figure it out for the next one. The SEC championship game, number 5 Georgia versus number 2 Texas, with a 2.5 spread. Now in the past, I always look at who won in the past. Georgia won against Texas in the past. Vast margin, basically scorched Texas. And people were wondering, is Texas a playoff team? Well, we're state championship game. It's time for Georgia, who I'm picking, for Georgia, with the points, to exercise the demons of the SEC championship games of the past, to exercise their demons, to refocus, and win this championship game. I'm picking the Bulldogs to take the fight and cook some cow and cook the Longhorns. And like 2.5 spread. 2.5 spread. One, they cooked them before, but now, if I'm Kirby, I am telling my team, exercise the demons. We're going to punch them in the mouth. We're going to scorch them like we did last time. We're going to scorch them some more. We're going to exercise these SEC championship game losses. We're going to win an SEC championship game. We're going to get in the playoff, and then we'll see from there. Obviously, he's not going to tell them to see from there, but we're going to see from there what they do. And I think they're a deep playoff team. Texas, I believe, is a deep playoff team. But this is the first time in an SEC championship game. It's time for the SEC to show what it means to be an SEC team. Now we travel down to the 8 o'clock slot. This was the game I was going to say. I was battling between this one and then Georgia and then the SEC championship game. The Big Ten championship game or the SEC championship game. Which one will have more impact on the top of the college football playoff? It has to be the Big Ten championship game with number 1 Oregon and number 3 Penn State. Too high. Whoever wins this, Penn State could go up to number 2 at the number 2 spot. Oregon, if they win, could stay at the number 1 spot. Both are, I wouldn't want to say locked in to a playoff spot, but both are in a considerable position to be in the playoffs, like 90%. 90%. I think if Penn State just gets blown out, that would be the only way they probably don't get like fully into the playoff without question. Obviously with Ohio State, but Ohio State, especially after last week getting cooked, and by that, yeah, you know what, they got cooked. But let's just continue on. It's a 3.5 spread of Penn State versus Oregon. As much, like I've gone first 2 with the points. With Iowa State, +2, take it. Georgia, +2.5, take it. This one, I'm going with Oregon. I'm going with Oregon with the 3.5, so they have to win by 4. Oregon has to win by 4. And for me, it's just, I don't think Penn State under the Franklin era has been in the position before. Neither is Oregon, because it's obviously the first year in the Big Ten, which is crazy enough that first time Big Ten they win it. But I think that just shows how Dan Lanning's built a program of mentally strong and physically strong football team. I think until James Franklin can exercise his demons of not winning the big games, obviously this year the playoff made sure that even when he lost to Ohio State, he could still get in. Until he, James Franklin, exercises the demons, and he could do it in this game, until he exercises those demons of not being able to win the big game, I'm choosing Oregon. Going Ducks with the 4 points, and we'll see at the 8 o'clock time. By midnight, does Penn State get the glass shoe, or do they just fuck it up? F it up. Being nice. And at the same time, which again, I wish they would have spread it out better. Like they could have done something, like something with this. First, like they could have done 12, 3:30, 7:30, and then fit that within there somehow, like halftime one game, whatever. The Clemson or the ACC championship game between number 17 Clemson and number 8 SMU. Clemson all year has been criticized because of not Kirby Smart, their head coaches, I guess reluctance is the best way to put it, to use use NIL and all the other stuff and transfer and like the transfer portal. And SMU has been a hot team, has good record. People are saying they're one of the French teams to get in. I think they should be considered to get in. But also, I just want to point this out. Unless they get blown out in this game, SMU should make the playoff. Unless they get blown out in the championship game, they should make the playoff. They made it to a championship game. I think if you make it to a championship game, don't get blown out. Look at the 12 spots, and there should be 6 spots. All of these teams shouldn't, the ones I've talked about, Iowa State, Arizona State are probably the only ones I can't say should make it. There's 12 spots, and there's 16, 15. But if you make it to a championship game with a good record, like SMU is the perfect case. SMU should, I know I said should twice, but that's how should make the playoff, based on their record. They should not be taken out because they lost in a championship game in which another team did not make it. So if it's between SMU and Alabama, SMU. If you did not make the championship game and you have a similar record and similar schedules, strength schedule, blah, everything else, SMU. That's really it. But for this game, the SEC championship game, I'm pulling back the gears, and I'm going with the point. I'm going to having some 2 points going into the game because I'm taking Clemson. One, the coach, even though he hasn't been there in a while, he has some experience in championship games. 2, he's going to want to prove his system right, especially since it's outlier from everything everyone else is doing. So he's going to want to prove that. 2, I think there's going to the chaos factor. There's going to be a lot of chaos, like this team making this, that with that. Well, this team should have made it. Why did this team make it? Blah, blah, blah. And that's why I think SMU, Clemson will be within 2. I do think for this one that Clemson wins it, which is why it causes chaos for the college football playoff with SMU losing the championship game and then possibly causing a situation where SMU doesn't make it. I don't see that situation because unless they get blown out, that is my one caveat. Blown out within there. And that should be taken into understanding because of the fact they actually made a championship game. If you make a championship game, and if you're holding the fact that they lost in a championship game against someone, then you're stupid. You're stupid if you do that. I don't care who you are. If you do that, you're stupid. Alright? Well, I hope everyone has a championship game, championship weekend, Saturday college football. Please like the video, subscribe, and follow us on our socials. Thank you so much, and have a great day.